Hello and welcome to the Fluency First podcast. I'm Dave and I'm here with my dad. Maybe you already know him.
I think we've met before, yes.
And his friend, Tony.
Hello, and I've also met Dave before.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny, Tony, because growing up, I always thought you were my uncle.
There you go.
And I remember Dad telling me he's not. I was like, "Are we going to Uncle Tony and Auntie Mel's house?" Mm-hmm. And you said they're not your auntie and uncle. But that's how you feel, you know, when I think about you.
I've known you since you were born, so it's been a long time. So I can imagine how that happened, really.
Yeah. When was the last time you saw each other?
Sunday.
We don't see each other that often because Tony lives in Birmingham, as you know, and I live in Sheffield.
As you can probably tell from my accent, which might be very difficult to understand.
It might be, but it's important to understand other people's accents.
But actually, we came for the weekend. This weekend
because of Crufts. Basically, the dog show is on at the NEC, which is very local to us.
So Wendy and my daughter Emily came, and Emily and Wendy went to Crufts, and I went on a walk with Tony and Mel.
Sounds very nice.
It was lovely, really nice. Right. And then we had a wonderful curry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nice, yeah.
Do you like curries, Tony?
Not too bad, yeah. Coming from Birmingham as well, it's probably a staple diet, really.
That's true. Birmingham is famous for its curries, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, well, let's move on. So the first part of this podcast, I call it How It All Started. So first of all, how long have you actually known each other?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a long time. We were at school together. I mean, I don't think we met until senior school, was it?
No, it was about 13, for the age of 13, and I'm 70 now.
So we would have been in the same junior school, but I was obviously in the higher class to Ian, and so we probably didn't mix very much in junior school because I was the much more intelligent of the two.
Well, we'll come to those questions later. Yeah.
I was a late developer. Yeah.
So you knew of each other, you know, from the age of 13. How old are you both now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 70.
You're 70.
Yeah.
I'm 70 in April.
You're 70 in April.
So I'm the spring chicken, really, of the relationship.
You wouldn't think so to look at us, would you? Yeah.
I'm the youngster.
Right. Some good phrases. Spring chicken. What was your first impression of each other when you first, met each other at school? Then.
I can't remember really. I mean, I think Tony was very close to another guy called Pete. Pete Davis was his sort of best friend, I think. And so I think I quite liked him. I liked Pete as well. But I always felt they were a bit closer than me to each other. Okay. But then that just changed over time, I think. I just developed a relationship.
Yeah, really. But I mean, I think we just started knocking about together in groups, as you do. You have your friend group at school, and that's how Pete.
Did you beat Pete in junior school? Did you?
No, I didn't know Pete till the same time as you. Really, at 11. I remember Pete actually. He sat next to when you're in a class for the first time.
Yeah.
You just sit next to arbitrary people. You don't know necessarily everybody in the class. And
because I was just thinking, how did you become friends? Because it seems to me, Tony, that you like football.
Yeah,
and my dad and me as well. We don't really like football.
Well, my mum wouldn't let me play football.
But that's what I mean. Usually, you make friends with kids with similar interests from an early age.
Yeah. Well, I think again, you at school, it wasn't a grammar school we went to. You were thrown into all sorts of PE lessons. It was unlike a lot of schools. We had an actual swimming pool. And that used to be, that was really unusual in the area. It was an outdoor swimming pool, so in winter, it was a heated swimming pool, but the room from the changing rooms to the swimming pool was about 200 yards, and you used to have to get changed into your swimming costume in the changing rooms and then run outside down a path for about 100 yards with your towel wrapped around you, and you were really pleased to get in that water because it was a lot warmer than the outside in the winter.
Wow.
But I remember, so you were tended to thrown into lots of sporting events together, and rugby was the main thing at the school anyway, not football. I think a lot of schools 30, 40 years ago would have been playing rugby rather than football. And so we all tended to just have to play rugby in the sports and games lessons.
Okay.
So and you just get to know people, and you're in different groups for the sports in terms of your abilities. But yeah, I mean, Ian was a good, he could run a bit, and I couldn't. I didn't really never like running really. It's running for us. The sake of running never done me any good.
I'm not keen on running.
I like running.
Yeah, we know that. So did you become friends straight away in secondary school?
I think it was just a slow thing. Slow.
I agree. I think it was.
We're surrounded with other people, many other people, and it was about the group rather than one friend.
Yeah, you find people with different.
I think as we got on, we started to do stuff out of school together.
That's right. Yes.
So I can't remember what we did.
Yeah. So as you got older, you started you passed your driving test a lot, and you had access to a vehicle. So that tended to expand our social horizons. So we used to be able to go out and
I
about.
passed 3 weeks after my 17th birthday.
Wow, impressive.
And so,
I've always liked driving as well. So driving and running.
yeah,
That's me.
A green VW Beetle.
Wow.
And we went in a few places in that, and so that was good. And your dad always had an interest in geology, really. So
That's true.
we had trips out to fossil hunting in various places around the
Really?
West Midlands. Yeah.
What, is that what you guys got up to back then?
Yeah, a very exciting life we led.
Fossil hunting.
We were living the high life.
And semi-precious stones.
Yeah. So what kind of things did you usually do together when you were younger then, apart from hunting for fossils?
Yeah. Well, no, we've had a much more exciting life than that, actually, as well.
Used to go in pubs when we were 17.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got served?
Well, sometimes we got served.
Sometimes you didn't.
Yeah.
You got kicked out?
Yeah, they wouldn't serve you.
Well, the rule in the UK is you have to be 18 to get an alcoholic drink. So we used to send the big blokes up to the bar, and they'd get served. And sometimes, well, I remember once, I remember Dukes. He went up to the bar, and they said, "You're 18." He says, "Yeah." So what about that little guy?
Was that you?
Me? Yeah.
That is funny. And do you remember a funny or memorable moment from those days? So any kind of...
I remember going fishing with Tony. That's a really strong memory. And I thought, he can take me fishing because he'll be an expert. And I've never had an experience like it. We caught a fish. I've never seen a fish as small. It was about the size of my thumbnail. It was only, the hook must have taken the whole fish off. It was like crazy. And that's the only thing we caught.
And it was.
was that the first and last time you ever went fishing?
I was never a great fisherman, but I used to go. We have a park in Sutton called Sutton Park, unusually, and there's lots of lakes there, so you could get a license and then just fish. But I was never an expert.
Are these all the ones where you have to put them back in the?
Yeah.
We wouldn't need this one.
There was we never caught anything big enough to eat, but yes, the theory was you're supposed to put them back. But we always put them back.
I later went with someone, a skilled fisherman,
Yeah.
and we caught really big fish. Really.
Is that a bit of a jam to you?
It sounds like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Barbel we caught.
Yeah.
Massive fish.
I don't think I've ever been classed as an expert fisherman though, so it doesn't offend me that he's having a dig.
Yeah. And Tony, do you have like a memorable or funny moment? Any days of the past?
I knew we'd come up to the Duke of Edinburgh. I suppose Duke of Edinburgh award we did, which was including an expedition, and we had a really good time on the expedition. And it was tough going because we used to have to go and camp out at nights, and you used to carry all of your material you needed, your food and your water and everything.
Tent.
Yeah, and so we had some memorable moments on that. So it was seeing Ian, really striving very hard to keep the morale up because he's good at that. And a lot of us were ready to throw the towel in. It'll be another word you'll have to talk about.
That's okay.
Yeah, and but he's good at keeping morale up, so he was always there supporting everybody. Say, "Come on, we've got to do this. We've got to keep going." And I think he's.
I didn't know you were like that, Dad.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Or like, come on, you can do it, guys.
I'm an encouraging sort of person, but I was struck by something different, really, because I'd lived in Birmingham all my life, which is quite a busy city. And we went out to the countryside, went to Wales to do this Duke of Edinburgh Award. I was just struck by how fantastic it was. Just the quiet and the rolling hills, and you could just not see anybody for miles, just hear a few sheep. And I was just struck by that, completely struck by that. And I've loved the countryside ever since, really.
And going back to fishing, really, that was another Duke of Edinburgh moment. We camped at the side of a river one night, and we'd snuck some, which we shouldn't have done because they didn't like you doing it, but we'd snuck some fishing equipment, not a rod, but we had line and a hook.
Right.
And I remember your dad and all of us trying to catch trout in this river because you could see all these trout in the river. And we were trying to catch it. We thought we could have a trout for tea because we got these little primer stoves, which are little gas stoves to cook things on. And we were there knee deep in this river, swinging a piece of rope around with a hook on the end, and a little bit of bait, trying to catch trout, which we never did. But that was another memory, just seeing everybody standing, trying to catch trout. I'll have a go, because we only had one line, so we had to take it in turns.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That's
that
really
was a funny memory.
Was that the Duke of Edinburgh Gold Award?
Yeah, Gold Award, yeah.
That's what I did as well.
Yeah, so it's a 50-mile walk. It's a good expedition. So you're out for 4 days, and you have to do about 12 miles a day.
Yeah.
And every day you're camping out and you're carrying your own equipment.
I loved it as well.
Yeah. So you're keeping your fingers crossed the weather doesn't turn bad, because that's not very.
The weather was, it was a bit cold one day, wasn't it? When one guy went taken off with exposure, didn't he? Can't remember who it was now. Was it Ray Bowers or was it?
Yeah, Ray was. Yeah, it was Ray. Yeah. But we had to get him back to some sort of normality. But and one night the weather was quite bad, and we were on a farm, and we asked the farmer whether we could camp in his barn. What he didn't tell us, he'd sheared all the sheep that day, and they got fleas and all sorts of things in these old fleeces that were in the corner of the barn. But we just camped down on the floor of the barn, and the next day we were all itching because.
Oh, it sounds awful.
Yeah, that was an adventure. Lovely.
Was it?
Brilliant.
Would you like to? Could you do this? Could you do it again?
Well, we have talked about. I'd like to do it, and Tony's also talked about it. We've talked about going back to the same place, and probably would stop in bed and breakfast this time, wouldn't we?
Definitely wouldn't camp, I don't.
But we have talked about doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Amazing. Did you ever get into trouble together at school at all?
Not much. I think we were quite well behaved. Yeah, I think so. And Tony was, exceptionally well behaved. And
Why is that?
I was always scared of getting into trouble. I've always had a thing about authority. I've always looked up to it and never challenged it really. Yeah. Which I think your dad's a bit more willing to do that than I am, really. But
he's a bit rule bound.
Yeah, I do like rules.
You do like to throw that phrase around, though, don't you? My dad is a bit of a rebel, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. I used to like driving fast, and I'd break rules when it's appropriate to. I wouldn't put people at risk or in danger or do something.
I think you just don't like rules in general. So, for example, when we go on holiday, and sometimes when you go on holiday, you have to wear a band to show that you're a member there. You have a caravan there or something, and you always refuse to wear it out of principle.
I don't like wearing a band, and we have to wear it all the time. It's just
there's a rebel.
Yeah.
I'm not. I would wear the band.
You would wear the band. You'd show people. You'd wear it with your
with pride.
Yeah.
I say, look at this. I've got my band.
What kind of music were you into, or similar hobbies did you have when you were growing up, in your teens or your early 20s?
I remember some of the groups we used to like. We used to like Black Sabbath, Curved Air.
Yeah.
What was that guy?
Deep Purple.
Deep Purple. And there was one that you liked.
Uriah Heep.
I liked him less. Yeah. But we used to have similar taste in music.
So heavy metal, we got into heavy metal. I don't know why, but we found ourselves, obviously Black Sabbath you know, with Ozzy Osbourne, he's recently died. He comes from Birmingham anyway.
We saw them practicing one.
Yes, we saw them practicing in a church hall once, which was very.
Was this when they were relatively unknown?
Just getting up. Well, they were known, they were big, but
I remember one of them came in a Rolls Royce. So they must have been fairly famous, and the other one came in a Fiat 500. Oh yeah. But they filled the hall with all of their equipment, completely masses of equipment.
Wow, that's amazing to think about. That's really cool. So yeah, I guess I also want to ask, like, you know, what did young people get up to or do for fun back in the day when you were growing up in your teens? You know, nowadays, most people are on their phones. I mean, I would just say that less people are outside going fishing, cycling, doing stuff, you know.
Yeah. And that's true, I think. I mean, it was very different, what, 50 years ago to what it is now. One, the traffic was a lot less, so people worried less about you being out on your bicycles or walking, or you know, it was a lot safer environment, I think, or perceived to be safer anyway. Certainly from them.
So would your parents let you go out? Like, at what age would your parents let you go out and just go out on the street and then come back before the lights on the street come on or something like that?
Well, before we met, before 13.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You'd be 11, I would, well, younger than that probably. But yeah, we used to just get let out in the school holidays.
You just roam about.
And you'd roam about, yeah. You just got up to your own interests, really.
That wouldn't happen now.
No, it doesn't. And there were lots of little parks and play areas where you could take a ball and have a game of cricket or football, you know, an impromptu game.
I used to wake up on a Saturday morning and I think, I'll ring Tony. And I'd ring and his mum would answer the phone and say, we're still in bed. And like hours would go and he was still in bed. And eventually he'd get up and I'd go and see him. But he was notorious for this.
Oh, was he? Are you still like that?
I'm still like that, and I've only just got up now for this interview, really. You're lucky I haven't got my bed cap on.
So let's talk about life changes. Did your lives go in different directions at some point? Because obviously you know.
Well, I think so, because of work mostly, because I moved away from Birmingham and I moved to Leicester. And I suppose that was the most significant change. And then meeting partners and having kids, later changes, those things took us in different directions, but we maintained contact and remained close. I think one of the reasons is that we had children at a very similar age. So Tony had Alan, and I had Rachel and you to start with, and later Emily. So I think we kept in touch. And also the other thing, I'll finish in a minute, one of the things that makes us special is that Wendy gets on with Tony's wife, Mel, really well, and I get on with Tony well, and I get on with Mel as well, and Wendy gets on with Tony. So all four of us have got good relationships, and I think that's what keeps couples together.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah. Because if, for example, your wives didn't get on with each other, maybe, you know, you wouldn't be as close as you are today.
Yeah, it does make a difference, yeah.
So were there any periods when you didn't see each other very often, or?
Well, as you say, I guess A levels was a big changing point, because you leave school and you go in your different directions. Ian went to work, I went to university in Nottingham, and that was a big, it's a big change, because obviously Ian's finding his way in work, and I'm finding my way in academia for 3 years, and but we still kept in touch. Ian came up to visit in Nottingham, and
I was going to say, like, what helps you to stay friends when you kind of, because that's not usual, it's not normal, it's not like the norm. If you go off university, you go off to a different city, and back then, like nowadays, I can FaceTime my friend in Thailand, Canada.
I couldn't do any of that. just got on, I think, and so I remember having great weekends at Nottingham University.
Oh, really?
Drinking competitions and things, Yeah,
it was a bit.
Is this when you claimed you did 60 push-ups in a minute?
No, that's later. But I've always had an ability to drink very, very fast. So if you gave me a pint, I could drink it really fast. We used to have competitions to see how fast you could drink a pint, and I used to.
Are you the same, Tony?
No, I don't drink very fast. Well, yeah, I suppose I can drink, not as fast as Ian though, but I don't.
Shall we show now with a pint glass of water? Or you just want to neck it to prove the point?
Well, I don't drink. I don't drink a lot of alcohol now, and I don't drink fast. I don't tend to drink fast, but I can.
But yeah, so that's sort of where we chat. Where sort of we started. Obviously, didn't see as much of each other because you go in different directions and you're also not in the same place.
Yeah.
And then, as Ian said, he moves away with work. He moved. So as I came back to the Midlands after I got a job in the Midlands, when I came back, Ian had moved to Derbyshire. But yeah, it's just having a lot of common interests, really. I think, and a mutual respect for each other.
Instead of common interest, you have more that your personalities matched as friends. Because I don't know, because you talked about common interests, but I don't feel like you had that many common interests.
Well, I don't think it's interesting, relationships, because you don't need to be the same to have a good relationship. When there's things that Tony can do that I can't do, and he's got a really good sense of humour, and I used to like that a lot, because he would make me laugh more than most people.
Yeah, I remember, every time we either visited you or we'd go on holiday with Tony and Mel, that my dad would suddenly change into a different person. And I used to think, as a kid, I'd say, who is this guy? Because you seemed completely different, like a teenager. So the last question for this section is, how has your friendship changed as you've both gotten older?
That's a very good. I don't know the answer to that question, I suppose. I don't see it as changed. I mean, I suppose it's hard to say how it's changed. I don't feel it has changed, really, to be honest, if I'm honest. I don't know what Ian thinks.
I think it's changed and developed and grown, really, so it's deepened in a way. And yeah, so we obviously don't do the same things that we used to do. But I had a weekend here recently. I stayed over on Saturday night and I really enjoyed it, and it's very relaxing for me. So I think that's still around that. So I don't think it's changed in that way. I feel relaxed around Tony and Mel as well. So So.
I think it is a comfort thing. You can often, you've got shared memories, and that means you're very comfortable in each other's company because you've got all that. It's like a comfort blanket almost, that you feel very relaxed around each other, so you don't really feel that there's anything to hide, and you can be yourself, really. So I think that's that's still the same. So in that sense, it hasn't changed. But yes, we do different things, and obviously we don't see each other as frequently. But yeah, it's just having common things to do.
So now I want you to ask each other questions, and I will allow you to choose the question. So you choose one of these questions and obviously ask it out loud. You want to read it first?
So I've got to read one of these.
Choose one of these questions, and Dad, you will have to answer.
Okay.
Okay. What is something you remember about me that I might have forgotten?
Oh, gosh. Oh. Well, I think you've got a good memory, actually. You've got a better memory than me. So I shouldn't think there's much that you've forgotten, but there's some difficult times that you've had in the past with your previous sort of girlfriends and things, and you might have just forgotten a bit of that.
Okay.
I think, because we tend to dismiss difficult stuff sometimes. So, yeah.
Interesting. Your turn.
I'll have to put my glasses on for this.
Oh.
What is your favourite memory of me? Favourite memory of Ian? That's a very good question. I suspect it'll probably come back to the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, as it often does. I think probably it is what I've sort of alluded to it, really. I think it's just, there's lots of those times in Wales doing the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which were great times, really, and stick with you. So I think that fishing thing, I know I've alluded to, but I suppose the other one was you rebuilding the Cortina that you had was another memory, and where you built it, and we tried it out after he put the 1500cc engine in this old Cortina, and there was a new road bypass. I hope the police aren't listening to this, but we tried it out after he got it going, and we topped 150. I was 115. I think it was about.
Oh, I don't know. But
It was very fast. It was over the 100 miles an hour down this.
But that was indicated on the speedo,
Yeah.
which was a bit inaccurate. But it would be close to 100, I suspect.
So that was an
But
exciting.
it was a clear road, no traffic.
Yeah, and it was
Safe.
It was a brand new road. Yeah, there was nothing. They just opened it, so there was no traffic on it. So we took no risks.
That's so funny. Dad's trying to like backpedal. Like trying to. Interesting. Okay, Tony, you choose one.
I've got another one.
Yeah, you choose. So you choose one that hasn't been asked yet.
What was I like when we were younger?
Very similar to how you are now.
Yeah, I haven't grown
You
up.
haven't changed much at all. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You choose a one.
I'll put my glasses on again.
Yeah.
This is another glasses time.
So keep them on till we finish this, will I? Oh, what is something you admire about me?
Well, I think again we've touched on it earlier. I think your ability to keep people motivated when times get tough and they're losing interest in doing things. I think that's always been a strength of yours, is to keep the sort of people's spirits up, really, in a very positive way. It's very easy, I think, for people in a group, particularly, to find that they're getting less motivated, and you're able to do that. So that's probably the thing I admire about you.
And how would you answer that for Tony? What is something you admire about Tony?
I think he's reliable and loyal. That's the one thing. So, you know, he doesn't change. You know, if you see him, he'll be the same as he was last time, and he's consistent. I think that's the word I need. But also his sense of humour, as I mentioned before. That's the thing I find really good about him. I don't know why I like that sort of humour, because it's strange, but I do.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said about me, that I'm consistent. I feel really motivated.
The best compliment ever.
Said that he motivates people, and I'm consistent. I'm probably the most boring person you've ever met by the sound of it.
So now we're moving on to a new part of the podcast, and they're kind of challenge questions. So I will ask you a question, and you will either point to yourself or to the other person. Okay? So, and please wait. So I'll say 3, 2, 1, and you do it. Okay? All right. So, who was the most mischievous when you were younger? Wait for it. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. You both think you were. Why do you think you were the most mischievous then?
I think I was into taking risks more, and so up to mischief might be like the speeding thing, and I was, you know, I used to like taking risks.
Okay. And Tony, why do you think you were the most mischievous?
Well, yeah, I was much more of a role player, but I suppose I sort of, with my sense of humour, I tended to get myself into some difficult where people didn't realise I was not being serious. So that often got me into some difficult positions, really.
Okay. Say no more.
No more. I'm not saying any more.
And okay, next one. Who was the better student? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay. So Tony was the more academic person.
The rules.
Because you listen to authority, and yeah. Okay. So all right, interesting. Next one. Who is the funniest? 3, 2, 1. Okay. I think we can understand. Who is the most serious? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, you are quite serious, Dad. Very serious. I think that's why you balance out, maybe. Who talks the most? 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting.
Do you want to know why?
Yeah, go
I
on.
think that
Yeah.
I don't like silences. I can't sit and listen to silence. I have to fill it, so therefore I have to talk. Well, I'm aware that we don't want to talk over each other. Otherwise, I would be talking over everybody all the time. But obviously, that's not a good thing to do in a situation like this. But yeah, I hate silences, and I like to.
Is there any reason why you hate silence? Because I think you really enjoy silence.
I enjoy silence. I think it's very useful silence, and I'm very comfortable with it.
All right.
I agree. I think it's useful, and I wish I could, but I can't. It's just a natural thing. I have to talk over quietness.
We're all different.
And I just need to fill a void, but I don't know why. It's just an inbred thing.
Yeah, yeah. Next up, who is the most adventurous?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so who are you pointing?
Me.
Dad's the most adventurous.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I've done things that Tony's never done, climbing and abseiling and.
You're not into abseiling and stuff.
I mean, I do it, but I wouldn't do it with the enthusiasm that Ian has for it. I mean, I can do things like that, but I'm not. I don't put myself forward to do it really.
Are you quite risk averse? Would you say?
I would say so. Yeah.
I am too. I am too. Yeah.
I mean, another example is I've done some skiing, but I doubt I would have gone, and I've really enjoyed that skiing, and I've been a few more times since. But if it hadn't been for Ian, so to be fair, I had skied before, but it was really he and the group that he'd got around him that would go in skiing that sort of got me into it, really.
Am I right in saying you met your wife on a skiing trip?
That's correct, yeah.
You met her on a skiing trip?
I did, yeah. So, yes, that's true. But again, it was other people that were encouraging. It was a group thing that was. I don't think I'd have gone skiing and thought about going skiing on my own.
Well, you have Mr. Motivator over here.
That's true.
Okay, this is a bit of a controversial one, but let's just do it in, it's all good fun. Next is, who is the most stubborn? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, I think maybe you're just trying to be nice.
Well, I don't think I'm very nice. No, I think I can be very fixed about certain things.
I feel the same. I feel I can be very, very staid in my ways. I don't like change a lot, so therefore I tend to be. I can dig my heels in and be stubborn about something I don't really want to do.
Great phrase, to dig your heels in.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Tony, you're coming up with loads of fantastic idiomatic expressions today, so thank you.
I talk in idiosyncrasies all the time.
All right, next is, who would survive the longest on a desert island? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, why do you think you wouldn't survive the longest then, Tony?
I don't think I'm as resourceful as Ian is, to be honest. I'm also, if you look at all the things I do in terms of sport, I like people around me. I'm a group activity, and group things encourage me to do things I wouldn't otherwise do. Ian's much more solitary, but much more self-sufficient in that sense. He can do things for himself a lot more than I am.
Yeah. And why did you choose yourself then for the same?
I think I've done adventures where I've been struggling a lot, and I am very resourceful. About 4 or 5 years ago, I did a 125-mile bike ride, rough terrain, and it took like almost 18 hours, and I just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and so I've got that ability to find something within.
I wonder why you decided to do that. It's just something I would never choose to do. Is it about proving to yourself that you can do it?
I don't know really. I was with two friends, both extreme sort of people, extreme cyclists, not one of them. So, So
next one is, who gave the best advice over the years? Ready? 3, 2, 1. You think you give the best advice?
Well, my work has led me to a position where I've had to give people advice and help them develop and grow. So I think and I don't think Tony's was in the same position. I don't know, but So, and I've always had an interest in other people's development. But actually, just to say a little bit about that, often asking questions can be more productive in influencing people than giving advice.
Ah, right.
Like, sometimes I feel like I want to give you advice, but I bite my tongue and choose to ask more questions and get you to think about it.
So you're very conscious about it then?
I am, but I get it wrong sometimes, and I realise that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I think for that very reason, really. I mean, I moved into engineering, which is very rules-based, very sort of focused on getting things done, but not necessarily having it's not having a big element of personal development or personal or contact with feelings, if you like, and so therefore Ian's role was much more into the training and development of people. So he was much more.
You're kind of opposite sides of the spectrum. You can have soft skills, would you say?
Yeah.
And you don't say hard skills, do you? How would I describe Tony's?
Well, technical,
kind of scientific, kind of. Didn't you work with engines?
Well, I worked in the automotive industry, yeah. So sort of vehicle related topics, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, who is the most reliable friend? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Who are you pointing? Who are you pointing to?
Well, I suppose I'm pointing at nobody.
I think both of us are.
I don't think we would be sitting here doing this interview if we weren't both reliable friends. So I'm not sure there's any difference. I think if you're not a reliable friend, I don't think your friendship lasts really.
Yeah. So now we're coming towards the end of the podcast, and these are more kind of reflective questions. So the first one is, what do you think you have learned from each other over the years? It's a bit of a difficult question. It's quite a deep question as well. So I'll give you a bit of time to think about it.
I don't need time to think about it, really.
Okay.
I think we've already touched on it as well. I think it's, for me, being in an engineering environment, it's the people side of things. That's what I've learnt most about Ian, and what he's really given me the most of, really, in terms of day-to-day life, is that aspect of being aware of people and thinking about people, which you don't have to necessarily do in an engineering environment. And it helped me because I moved into management eventually, and a lot of what I'd heard Ian talking about, or he explained to me, was I used that a lot in my work as well.
That's incredible. I didn't know that. Yeah, because you did management consultancy. Wow. So, and same for you, Dad. What do you think you have learned from Tony over the years?
I think the value of being solid and consistent. I've mentioned that twice now. Because I know that I used to have a boss, and I'd go and see him, and I wouldn't know what he's going to be like when I saw him. So I'd have a list of things that I might bring up or I might not bring up. So it's very unpredictable, and I like the predictability of Tony, and aspire to be a little bit more predictable myself sometimes.
Yeah,
yeah.
The fact I'm so boring, based.
I've not used the word boring.
No, I've used it several times, Ian. That's what I'm getting from this.
Well, I mean, growing up,
we're friends because I'm boring.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, like, I'm quite a serious person, and you are a very serious person. But then when we would visit Tony and Mel, I like how Tony's very funny. And I like how, well, at least when I, saw you kind of taught me to not take life too seriously.
I think that's my outlook on life is that, really.
Yeah, that's what I personally learned. I've learned stuff from you too, don't worry.
No, I'm not worried, no.
But that's just, yeah.
I think it's important. I mean, it's obviously at times gets you into trouble because there are times when you should take things very seriously, and sometimes I like to make too much of a joke about it.
Second to last question, what has changed the most in the world since you first met?
Technology for me, like the mobile phone and the way you can do stuff. It's just incredible, amazing.
That's got to be it, really. I mean, the pace of change that we've lived through. I mean, we remember, I mean, our parents probably lived in houses with outside toilets, and they didn't have inside,
No central heating.
no central heating, no fridges. The phone, you, well, rarely had a phone in your house. So yeah, I mean, in the overarching title of technology, but also the consequences that's brought in terms of lack of, in my opinion, lack of communication that goes on, face-to-face communication. I mean, you could argue there's tremendous amount more communication than there was, but it's not the same level. It's not the same intensity that it used to be when it's one-to-one, face-to-face. So you miss that, and that allows you to develop relationships that me and Ian have got, really. And I think while people still have those strong relationships, they are different because of technology. So there's a lot of technology that's gone on in 50 years. I mean, we used to have vinyl record players, and you had that for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden it's CDs, and then it's Spotify, and that's every other week.
Vinyl is coming back, and it's very popular because there's this new wave of analog culture of like cassette CDs, VHS, vinyl, physical things, that because people want to hold something and touch it, and I do feel that that's coming back. But all right, it is the last question of today, and I'm calling it the last big question.
Ooh.
So you've known each other for, let's think, 57 years?
Yeah.
What do you think is the secret to a long friendship?
Do you want me to go first? I think it's having a common interest, and I know you can have different interests as well, but there's a core values, if you like, I guess, rather than interests, I'd say. There's a core value in terms of how you live your life, and that is a common theme. We have the same levels of, obviously there's differences around that, but there's a core there that is very similar, and we've got that. A mutual respect that you have over the years, and you grow closer together, obviously, as the years go on. So you feel like you're very close together and very comfortable in each other. You don't have to hide anything. So you don't go into a relationship thinking, I don't think, Ian and Wendy are coming this weekend, what we're going to talk about, because you're going to find easy things to talk about. And so it's about that, really, I think, for me, that just development.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
I think it's having similar values is important.
You're just copying Tony, are you?
No, I'm not. No, similar values with within the family and things like that, and that's become more important as we got older. But that remains important, and I've always thought that you and your two sisters would think of Tony and Mel probably closer than some of their relatives, so it's the connection between all of us that's important, not just me and Tony now, that keeps us together and makes us stronger.
The question was, though, like, what do you think is the secret to a long friendship?
Well, another thing I think is you learn things off each other still. There's always something to be learned, and you can still surprise, even though you've known each other for 53 years, there are certain things 57 years, sorry, I beg your pardon, my maths. For an engineer, that's not good, is it, really, having crap maths? Sorry, bad maths. I don't know whether you use that word, but never mind. But yeah, so the maths didn't let me down.
But the thing that Tony said that I can relate to is, I've never thought about before, but we don't hide anything. So
right, so it's a transparent.
Yeah, so you come here and you haven't got anything to hide. I've got a lot to hide from many people, really, but with some people I might be more careful about what I say.
It's that bank job you did not so long ago that we don't talk about, but that netted a few mil, didn't it?
Right. Well, yeah. Well, thank you both of you for doing this interview. I have to say, I really like this mug. Keep calm and drink tea. Yeah. Very, very British.
Oh, we can have a cup of tea now. Come.
Yeah. And but most importantly, we're going to have a game of snooker. So who do you think is going to win?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, sorry. Yes, me. Absolutely, I'll win.
You still have to try and win, though, Tony.
Oh, I always try and win. We're still competitive. I mean, we don't let either of us get away with anything.
Yeah.
Which again, I guess, is another. Comes back to the question. Even though you're friends, you still can be competitive.
Yeah.
But you still get on afterwards.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it?
You don't lose sight of that fact.
So you never hold grudges, basically, with a.
No, I don't think so. You get over them.
No, I never hold a grudge against Tony ever.